and welcome to another day at Ewetopia Farms. So this daily stampede, when we let the ewes out, we do 2 tests on this group. It's a really hard group to individually manage because there's so many of them. But first we feed them fresh hay to fill them up, and we'll watch to see who's not coming up to the feeder. And then because they're on pasture, the biggest risk out here is foot issues and parasites. And we're looking for signs of bottle jaw is the main one we're looking for. And bottle jaw, they'll get a swelling under the neck. And yesterday we caught one who had swelling under the neck, but it was that same one we catch time and time again that has a growth on her jaw, and it's actually not swelling but a growth. And we're probably gonna call her. I don't know what the growth would be, but that's what we do. So it all looks like it's fun and games when all this is going on and we're filming and laughing about them running and stuff, but it's our best opportunity to get a close look at them as they go by. And I didn't see anything obvious there. There's a few in poorer shape, but very shortly, yeah, you see they're all coming back in because we've put hay out. And 2 reasons they're coming back in. 1, it's warmer. 2, they don't like the bugs. 3, we've got a fresh bale of hay here that they can eat. It's first cut, but it's fresh. And so they basically have pretty well grazed this paddock off that they're in now, except at that far corner. And those more motivated ones are going to go back to the 4 corners. And the lazier ones are going to stay here and just eat off the trough and head out there later. They all will go out eventually because they do like the exercise, so we keep the pastures open so that they can go out there. But that pasture's gonna probably be closed off shortly because when they graze on it and it's grazed right down, that's when they're gonna be picking up even more parasites. So right now we're in July. Our Suffolks, we're going to start pulling Suffolks out in August for breeding groups. And because we graze our Suffolks on pasture in the summer, we will deworm every single one when they come in before they go into a breeding group to make sure that they're clean, dried out. And then we'll start feeding them a little bit heavier to get them flushed for a ram going in with them. Usually our first Suffolk groups we'll set up will be mid-August. So time goes by fast. It will be very shortly when we're doing that. But in general, this large group is doing quite well. I don't see a lot of dirty bums. Now that the fields have dried up, the limping issues have basically disappeared as well. And as a whole, they're in good shape. There's a few ones like this one here. She needs more condition on her. They will go through the chute again, and when they go through the chute, we will reevaluate anyone who is in poor shape. And I can tell just from looking at her that she's an old girl. And that's when we will make our final culling decision of the year, when we judge their condition to see if it's really feasible to breed them or if it's time to just let them go. Hard decisions, but necessary ones to keep your flock healthy and thriving. Like these girls obviously have no problem whatsoever, except that they're lazy and want to come in for food. And you look very nice too. Arnie told me he came in here this morning and gave one of these lambs some antibiotics because he had a really snotty nose, and when he grabbed him He had a raspy chest as well. So I thought that was a good opportunity to mention that, because I think you don't really think of summer as a time for colds. So I'm going to try find the ram that he treated, see if I can see anyone who's not looking their best. Hi, Casanova. We know that you're looking your best. We know it. And we know you are, because you're always... This ram, off topic, but this is my big Suffolk. He's got a little bit of Rito in him. And if somebody doesn't buy him, I'm not going to part with him, because this guy, he's worse than our dog Ben. Like, he is by my side when I come in here, and he stays by my side. He walks with me. He's the tallest one in here. He's a total sweetheart. Hi. And he's actually a beautiful ram. So I imagine somebody will take him. But he's just an awesome guy. So loyal. Okay, so these guys are chewing their cuds all here, and I don't see any dirty noses. So who he treated? Let's see. Okay, so he could be one of these under the feeder here. Here comes my guy. You see, he's got to follow me. Yesterday I was trimming some wool off some of the sheep. And to show you the personality of this guy, there's a black ram in here who's got really good conformation. He's a March lamb. But I thought I wanted to see how black he actually was under all the wool. So I was trying to trim him off, and he kept moving to different spots. But when I got him and was trimming, this big triplet guy, he would walk up beside me where I was trimming and lay down beside me. And then when the ram moved, the other ram, and it went to a different spot to lay down, I got up and moved with it to continue trimming. And the triplet, he also got up, came with me, and when I got to the other ram, lay down beside me. He's the ultimate sweetheart. I don't have a name for him, but I'm guessing I'm going to have to name him because he's pretty special. So they're all coming up to me right now. So this guy, he's got a little bit of a runny nose. Not much, and he's not the raspy one for sure, but there you can see his nose is a little wet. Little boogies. Now, that's not always a sign that there's a problem, because when they eat their grain and stuff, the dust gets in their nostrils, and so they can have buildup and dirt around their nose, and it's just clear mucus. It's not an issue. They're not rasping. What you're looking for is mucus that's got color to it. It's cloudy, white. And is it one of you guys? How are you guys looking under there? So I see my black one's under there. He's chewing his cud and looks fine. Who is it? Well, I don't see any dirty noses there. So maybe Arnie blew his nose and it didn't come back, because I honestly don't see anyone with a cloudy nose here, unless there are a few outside grazing, so maybe he's in that group. So anyway, I wanted to show you what it looked like, but I mean, you all have had colds. You know what a dirty, cloudy nose looks like. And nobody's really sick, but when you're dealing with the number of animals we have, and like I said, flies that are going to spread the problem, you really want to be on top of it, like any sheep disease. The smaller your flock, the more you can get away with, but it's like COVID. When you get into groups, you got to be masking, because you're going to spread it. It's just the law of numbers, right? So whenever we see anything contagious type issue or potentially contagious, we want to jump on it as quickly as possible, because we don't want stuff flying through this flock, because then we got a nightmare on our hand. And usually treatment with drugs for a few days is usually all it takes. But it should be something you're aware of, because summer is definitely a time we find if there's going to be long problems, that's when it's going to happen. Ah, I found him. So here he is. He's one of my gladiator sons. And you can see. And yeah, Arnie's got a mark on him good. So we just put a little mark. Now you can see he's got cloudy boogers. Hi, buddy. Hi. Sorry. See that? It's cloudy. And not only that, you can tell he's feeling off, because the nice thing about Suffolks with their long ears, when they're hot, their ears will droop, but also when they're not feeling well, their ears will droop. See? You can see it just a little bit there. So he was given some antibiotics this morning, and we will treat him for a few days now. He's not off his feet or anything, but he's not feeling well. So we're gonna get a lid on that, and he's rasping a bit. So when you're right beside him and you feel his chest, you can feel he's heaving maybe a little bit more than the others. Not terrible where you can see it pulling in at their sides, but enough that you can feel it when your hand's on it. And that ram, as I was cleaning the drinker, I can hear he's coughing. So he's also got a raspy cough. There he goes. See that? Right now I'm gonna go catch him and blow his nose. May sound silly, but I do like to blow their nose to help them clear that mucus out of there. You do it with your kids, and why not with your sheep too, right? When I'm letting the ewe lambs out, I'm going to be watching for the same things. This is Hunchy. Hi. And you look really nice. No dirty nose, no limping. Hi, how are you doing? Do you want to be a friend? Yeah, you're really nice. Yeah, you're really nice. So, as these girls come out, same thing. I'll take this opportunity to watch. They're in the pen with the rams that are, well, the ram that's got the snotty nose, so they do have a double wall divider between them, but there are flies, so you gotta watch for it spreading from animal to animal. So far we have no issues in the ewe lambs. Knock on wood. Another thing I do, which I don't show every day, but every single day I rinse out all the drinkers in every barn. And some people might think that's overkill, but I should have shown this when it was dirty, just before I did it. But inevitably, birds, mice, rats are drinking out of these drinkers also, especially in the summer or midwinter when finding a source of water is difficult. And that would be all well and good if they just drank out of it, but they don't. They defecate in it and make a terrible mess of it. And so not only are they pooping in it, but that poop probably contains parasites and stuff that we are trying to avoid them getting by rotating grazing in the fields. So you may be doing all the great rotational stuff, and if your drinkers are dirty, one, they won't drink as much. Like our sheep, I know when a drinker is dirty because nobody will drink out of it. They've learned that they are going to get fresh water, so their water intake is going to be way down, and you don't want that. Or they're going to be forced eventually to drink the dirty water and pick up parasites that you worked at trying to avoid by doing all your moving of fencing around and stuff. So it's something you should consider, because I know the focus is always on rotational grazing, and it should be. But if they don't have a clean water source, they're gonna pick up parasites anyway. So we find it easy to just go around, and to be honest, sometimes I just have to scoop out some hay that they've dropped in. But most times, every drinker, the birds have pooped in it. So with these drinkers, they're really nice. I just pull a plug, swish my hand around, or I have a little sponge that I carry with me in this pouch that's always here, so I can give it an extra cleaning so nothing sticks to the sides. And it literally takes 30 seconds a drinker if you do it every day, so it's not a huge deal. But it's a tip I think that is a good one. I'm in the old barn now where we've got the breeding groups of Dorsets. And this is the barn they like the best in the summertime. It's dark in here because it's an old barn. And it's got the cement block walls. So in the summer, this barn stays way, way cooler. And you see they're all leaning up against the walls. And it's a noticeable temperature difference when I come in here. But shortly we're going to be putting Quincy and Hilton into breeding groups, and we're assuming that this group and the two in the main heifer barn here are probably all bred. We don't bother scanning anymore because we can't be bothered, basically. Usually they're all bred, so it's not an issue. And we will put a cleanup ram in with them just to make sure. But I think we're going to move all these girls over to the coveralls, since we're assuming that if anyone's not bred, there'll be just a few misfits. And we're going to set up 2 Suffolk groups, maybe 4, including the 2 new rams in this barn, because it's darker, cooler, and since the rams are coming from a hot, and the ewes are coming from a hot, bright environment, and then they'll come into this darker, cooler environment for breeding, it kind of fools them into thinking that it's going into fall, because there's the light change and the temperature change. And I attribute that to our good success in breeding Suffolks pretty early in the season, because August is really considered out of season for Suffolks, but August, September are when the majority of our Suffolks are bred and do breed. So that's what's going to be happening in here shortly. While I'm doing things like cleaning the drinkers, I'm also listening in all these barns as well as watching. So when I stand in a barn here for a minute or so, I'm listening for somebody coughing. And all coughs are not the same, because you're always going to have a sheep that coughs because she's got something caught in her throat, or just needs to clear her throat, just like a human. You know, you'll cough and go, you know. Doesn't mean anything. It's a common thing. If you hear that kind of thing happening, just watch it. It usually stops and you won't hear it ever again. You're listening for a cough that stops, that doesn't stop, and it's raspy, more raspy. And usually after they cough, they'll kind of walk off to the side. Like, this one's not coughing, but it'll go off on its own like that. That one's lying down because it's middle of the day. She's fine and she's just resting. These guys here think I'm going to feed them. But a sick sheep usually will get the droopy ears, the snotty nose, the coughing. Just won't look itself. So The coughing is something where if you hear it happening, you can find that sheep, look, and then assess it for the other symptoms of illness or being under the weather. So part of the daily routine, it's not just doing the chores, it is looking and observing, listening. It's all of those things, and it becomes more critical in a big group. So it's easier for us to miss them, but if we go slowly through, you're more likely to pick up any anomalies, because a sheep that's sick will stand out from the crowd. And everyone in this barn looks fantastic. They're all great, which is good, because these are all the pregnant girls. We don't want these guys getting sick, but everyone looks really good. The barn's backwards today, so I'm ending up with Quincy and Hilton here. I just brought them in some fresh hay from the back of the barn over there where the Dorsets were, and they're happy to see that. Hi guys, how you feeling today? You guys look like you're adjusted really well. This one here at the front is Quincy, and we got the other guy back there, Hilton. So they're 232 and 233 right now on their backs. But I kind of like that she has the orange tag that's in their ear next to the radio tag. That orange tag actually has their name written right on it. So I've never seen anybody write the sheep's name on the tag, but I thought that was kind of cute. I like that idea, so you always know who it is. So I won't remove those, I'll keep them in. Hi boys, you look very nice. Hi, you feeling good today? Oh yeah, you are. You are. You guys are so nice. I can't reach you. There, yeah, you're really nice. Yeah, it's funny. The first day, Quincy was the calmer one, but I think Hilton is definitely the more of the lover boy of the two. But again, traveling in the heat all the way from British Columbia, a lot of stress, a lot of heat. They're in with a lot of strange animals. These guys that travel the farthest to go to the shows are under a lot more stress. So that's why we would be quarantining these guys, so we can really keep a close eye. They can get what's called shipping fever, and it is like a little pneumonia. You'll see the runny nose and the droopy ears and the coughs that will come. So you want to watch for that. That's the main thing you're looking for when you're shipping a sheep that kind of distance. He's in a trailer with a whole bunch of other animals, then he's at a show with all kinds of people, all kinds of other animals. The show animals are mostly quite clean, but that doesn't mean that they don't have something. So that's why these guys are in here. We're keeping a much closer look on them. Casanova, he came from Ferdinand's farm. We know that guy really well. We've bought sheep from him in the past, both ewes and rams, and he only lives a couple hours from us, so not quite as worried about him, although if we had the space, quarantining animals is always something you should do. We're a little more complacent because we've been in this so long, and we kind of, I guess maybe you let things slide a little more because you're a little more confident in what you're looking for, but it's probably not something I would recommend. But these guys are in here because they were under the most pressure, and we don't want anything to happen to these guys. But again, they're from a really clean flock. I'm not worried about them passing diseases on, just things they might have picked up on their journeys. But these guys, they're eating well, they're drinking well, no sign of illness whatsoever. So we'll know in a couple of weeks these guys are fine. And here's the rams out in the paddock. I think we got a lot of rams. Now all these little white lambs are for sale. And I think in this pen there's probably about 5 Suffolks for sale too. And the rest we actually are using. But this is not even including that group of rams in the other barn. Hey buddies. These guys look real happy with the grazing situation. A few of them are getting diarrhea. That's another problem with the grazing. But no epidemics yet, but soon we'll be bringing this lot in too, and we'll be deworming them all. Oh, and I don't know if Scotty hears me or if he's just normally wandering through the ram paddock. But if you look past that group of rams there, here he comes. Funny cat. Oh, he's noticed me. Anyway, I'm probably going to get Scotty to the barn and give him some food. He doesn't like Tom guarding the bowl all the time. And we're going to call this a day. And hope you join us again tomorrow for the next episode at Ewetopia Farms. Bye for now.